Children who have listened to stories told by their grandparents and or family members throughout their childhood will develop high racial centrality. Introduction. Stories passed down from generation to generation in African American culture has been prominent for many years, and also known as folk stories. Folk stories were derived from West African traditions of storytelling that are passed down to the next generation that will keep the family gene pool going. Racial centrality is defined as the extent to which race is a central aspect of an individual's self-definition. A hypothesis. My case study was designed to support my hypothesis. Children who listen to stories from their grandparents and or older family members at Sunday dinners throughout childhood will develop high racial centrality. Literature review. In a journal article titled Towards an Integration of Narrative, Identity, Generativity, and Storytelling in African American Elders, the journal article described and explained how integrity, generativity, and storytelling in African Americans have an effect on identity. It also talks about how storytelling has been a method of integrational communication and connection for a number of years in the African American community. The article then states research exploring the life experiences of African American elders to which the stories are told from their life experiences. Methods. The proper procedure that was used to test my hypothesis was to pick an African American adolescent to interview between the ages of 13 through 19 who grew up listening to stories about her grandparents and or family members on a regular basis. The person I had the pleasure of interviewing was my friend Desiree Sanders from Hillsborough, North Carolina, who has been involved in the Black culture experience since she was a child working with Piers Freeline. By interviewing Desiree, I was able to test my hypothesis by asking her questions about her family and also the different stories that were told by different relatives of her family. Results. By interviewing Desiree, I was able to obtain the results of my hypothesis. The interview allowed me to prove that stories told from grandparents and other relatives does affect your racial centrality by individual self-definition of your race. Desiree even stated that certain stories have stuck with her throughout her journey through adulthood. She said the stories that were told to her by her grandparents and older relatives makes her want to be successful, so she doesn't have to go through what they've been through. Discussion. Even though Desiree and I both agree that stories that have been told to us affect us and our racial centrality, it doesn't mean that every African American adolescent is affected the same way that we are. We all have different views on race and how we self-identify ourselves, which can be a touchy situation pertaining to certain aspects of our life. The case study that I am researching is limited because there is only one person to interview and gather information from. The results may be different also because there would be more participants to evaluate and have different samples. Key questions that were asked during the interview related to the hypothesis. Interviewer. Do your older family members such as grandparents, great aunts, and uncles talk about their childhood? Desiree. Yes, they love to talk about how bad my grandmother was growing up. Interviewer. With these stories, how do you feel after you hear them? Desiree. I feel like I understand that they have what they have went through. Interviewer. Do you identify yourself based off of what you hear? Desiree. I do identify myself off of certain things that I hear from their stories, but I don't base all of my identity off everything that they have said to me. Interviewer. Do you understand their struggle? Do you sympathize with them? Desiree. Yes, I understand their struggle because their struggle is a part of my struggle since we are family. I do sympathize with them about certain things pertaining to race, cultural differences, and education. Interviewer. Tell me about what you think it means to be Black. Desiree. Being Black means powerful, strength, perseverance, and creative. Thank you all for watching my presentation.